Hey everyone, it's Deja from CrochetEverAfter.com. Today we're going to do the newest motif of the month, and it's the Flemish motif. So this is kind of an old school motif like the Irish crochet rose, old thread based crochet motifs that have been around forever. And this one's called the Flemish, and it's really simple. It's 3 rounds, works up really fast, but it's really pretty. It's a really nice little flower that you can use for an applique, or you can connect them together to make a real open work kind of shawl. Lots of different things you can do. But I'm using some worsted weight yarn. I'm using a small hook this time. I'm using a 4mm USG hook, so that way I get nice tight stitches, so it tries to be a little bit more stiff than my normal motifs. You can download the pattern right below, so let's grab everything and we'll get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is put a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to chain 8. So normally you chain 4 for an open circle, but this motif has a big open circle. So to do that, we need to chain 8 so that we can get a nice big open circle. So always yarn over, turn your hook down, pull through to make nice even chains. We have 7 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm using a pretty small hook, a 4mm with this worsted weight, because I want my motif to be really defined. I don't want it really floppy, since it's a pretty sparse motif, so it'll look nice and crisp when it's done. So now I'm going to join my round. So I'm going to flip it around and just stick my hook anywhere, because we're going to be covering this first round as always. I'm just going to grab that back loop, yarn over and pull through the loop on my hook, and now I have my nice round. I'm ready for the actual instructions. Okay, so to begin this first round, we're going to chain 1 just for height, and then we're going to do single crochets inside of the circle. So this is nice and big, so it's easy to reach all the way through. Let me yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both. My first single crochet. You can either crochet your tail into the ring. It of course is not going to fit the entire tail, so it's up to you. I like to leave it out and just weave it in at the end so I can pick where I want it to go. But we're going to keep single crocheting, so we reach through, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. This yarn, the plies are really loose. It's Caron Simply Soft, so a lot of times you can split the yarn. Whenever you do that, just pull your hook out and start over. So when I pull through, sometimes it wants to pull on those plies. You can see how easily they spread. So just point your hook straight down to pull through the loops, and it will get through easier. But we're going to do 16 single crochets in the ring. So we're going to keep going around to 16. Just got 2 more to do. If you're running out of room in your ring, just grab the last stitch you made and the ring on the other side and pull. Because they're around the ring, you can move them over so you can make room. And another trick is, if you're brand new to crocheting, which you probably are if you're watching a video, that you may not be able to count these stitches. So if you stop counting, or if you lose count, looking at the front of the stitches, especially when they're all bunched up like this, they're really hard to count. So turn your work sideways and count the tops of your stitches, which look like the letter V. So count every V that you have all the way around. Don't count that very first chain 1 V. It's a little tiny squished one. Make sure it's coming up from the top. Once you get to 16, then you're done. So now we're going to join our round. So I'm going to go under the very first single crochet we made, not the chain 1, the actual stitch. So we're going to go under both loops, yarn over, pull through, and then pull that through the loop on our hook, and you'll see that that looks like a V, so it goes over the top of that first one we did, so it takes the place. So now we're ready for the next round. Okay, now we're ready for round 2. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chain 12. So the first 4 chains that we do are going to count as a treble crochet. So these first 4 are going to take the place of one of the trebles that we're going to make in this round. The second 8, or the remaining 8, are going to be a bridge between each treble. So we're going to do another 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to begin the pattern repeat. So we're going to do a treble crochet. We're going to skip our next stitch. So that treble came out of the join. So that's that very first stitch. We're going to skip this next stitch and work into the stitch after. And we're going to put a treble crochet. So to do that, we yarn over twice from back to front, so 1 and 2, and then insert our hook into that second stitch. We yarn over, pull up a loop, and we've got a bunch of loops on our hook, but you'll see that this chain likes to curl around the front. So there's 2 things you can do. I'll show you the first option on this one, which is push the chain back and keep your fingers on the loops to keep them visible. So you see I have 4 loops on my hook, so I yarn over, I pull through the first 2, I yarn over, pull through the second 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Then I'm going to chain 8 again. So we're going to do chain 8 between each treble. 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to skip another stitch. So we just worked into that one. We're going to skip this one and work into the next. We're doing another treble. Yarn over twice, insert your hook, and this is the other option you can do when your chain starts wrapping around your hook, is just work and don't even worry about it. It's going to move out of the way. So I yarn over, pull through the first 2, go through, yarn over, pull through the next 2. You might need to move this just to keep an eye on only going through 2. You should have 2 left over at the end. You don't want to pull through too many, and then pull through the last 2. So that's what we're going to do all the way around. We're going to have 8 trebles by the end of the round, since we skip 1 stitch between. So we have 16 stitches total. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yarn over, skip that one, and treble right in there. So do your 8 trebles, and then we'll come back and join up at the end of the round. Okay, I just did my last treble, so now I'm just going to chain 8. So I still need to put 1 between me and the last treble and the next treble, or the first treble, or the first chain 4. So now we need to join up. So to do that, we're going to count up 4 chains, because remember, we're counting this as a treble, and we want to join at the top of our treble like how all these other chain 8s are joined. So I'm going to count upwards. This little tiny one is our first one, 2, 3, and 4. You can also count backwards 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and join up. So you just put your hook right through, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook. All right, now we're set for our final round, which is going to make the pointy petals. So it's going to be the same thing for every single petal that we come to. So the first thing we're going to do is start building up our petal by doing each of our stitches to increase our height. So our very first stitch is a single crochet. So I reach through that whole big petal opening, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to do a half double crochet. So we yarn over before we insert our hook through, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Point your hook down when you pull through so you don't get caught on the loops. Now we're going to double crochet. We're going up in height by each stitch. So we yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the second 2. Now we're going to do 3 trebles. So this is going to make the third treble is going to be the very top of our petal. So we're going to yarn over twice, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2, second 2, and third 2. Do that 2 more times. Okay, and then once we get to this third, we're going to put a little point on our petal. So to do that, we're going to picot. So to picot, you're going to chain 3, and then you're going to slip stitch in that first chain that you just made. So just insert your hook right through that first chain, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the loop on your hook. You'll notice when I do these close together kind of slip stitches, I grab hold of what I have down here, and it makes it easier to pull through. So if I just try to pull through here, I sometimes lose this loop. So by kind of holding on to everything as I pull through, it doesn't fall off my hook. So now I've got my little point. It's very cute. And now we're going to go down. So now we're going to do 2 trebles, a double, a half double, and a single. So we're just doing the opposite of what we just did, except for we're not doing 3 trebles, we're just doing 2 trebles. Yeah, 2. And we have a double, then a half double, and a single. We're going to do that for all 8 petals. We're not going to do anything in between the petals. So once I finish this single crochet, I'm going to insert my hook into the next petal and start my single crochet. So there's no bridge, no chains, no nothing. So just keep following that pattern of single, half double, double, 3 trebles, picot, 2 trebles, double, half double, single, and you'll finish each petal as you go. So do all 8 and then we'll meet up right here at the end to join up. Okay, I just finished the last petal of the flower and now I'm joining up. So I'm going to do a slip stitch in the very first single crochet that I made. So I'm just going to put my hook under both loops, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on my hook. Now I'm ready to fasten off. So I usually just make a chain and then I pull it really long and I cut it off. Pull out that extra tail. Then I'm just going to weave in the 2 ends that I have and we'll take a look at the finished flower. Finish weaving in the ends of the motif. It's all set to go. So you notice that it's quite floppy in this yarn. It's a worsted weight, Simply Soft. So if you want it to be more stiff, you could either block it with starch or you could use a different type of yarn. So crochet thread is typically what this was made out of way back in the day. So if you use crochet thread, then you wouldn't probably have to block it at all. It would lay nice and stiff. It'd be much, much smaller. So if you want a smaller motif, that would be perfect. But using like a wool is very stiff when it's sitting there, 100% wool, you can do that. But any type of yarn will work for this, so you can go big or small, whatever you like. But that is the Flemish motif, and thank you for watching.